minutes of the previous meeting. Ken sent them around. They looked good to me. Did anyone have any comments or concerns? Okay, do I have a motion to accept them?
Motion to approve as distributed.
Second.
All right, all in favor, Ken,
Aye.
Kathy, Bill,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Margaret, yes. Treasurer's report.
Yes. I'm trying to get, so there's two bills we need to pay. One is the peer review. And the other is, which is, it's around $8,000.
Yep.
And then the other one is a couple $100 for legal ads.
Which I just signed.
Great.
This was a, change of,
Change.
I
Okay.
had signs of, and then they, but anyway, I would prefer to also have your signature on that.
Sure.
Is that for Dean Pond, I think it is? Yep, Dean Pond, because, we keep asking Stan Tech to do a little bit more.
We have the Mylar pen?
Okay, planner's report was sent around to us.
Where was this? I looked for it. I couldn't find
It
it.
wasn't on it?
I thought it was on there. Pardon me?
I didn't.
Oh, okay, you didn't. Okay. Anything we would like to share with us?
Trying to think if there's anything additional that I felt I was leaving off. Nothing springing to mind.
Been springing to mind? Anyone have a
Tell me
question?
you forgot one.
All right.
There was we did get a thing about the ADA, recently, though, didn't we?
ADA,
I mean, not the ADA, the,
ADU.
MBTA.
Oh.
This, it was as clear as mud, as I think I remember correctly.
Oh, yeah.
What I circulated,
Yeah.
yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I circulated the recent.
I liked your summary of it.
Oh, thanks. The recent Superior Court decision regarding the Milton case and Milton's challenge to the AG, challenging their ability to enforce the law, to put it plainly. The Superior Court upheld the AG's argument that they have the authority to enforce the law as they have interpreted it in this case, which means that they can take civil action against towns that don't comply with state law. In this case, specifically MBTA zoning law. The surprise, plot twist in that was that they also gave an opinion that the state's guidelines are not legal, cannot be applied. They decided that the guidelines crossed over into regulations. And the difference between that is basically a legal process.
Mhm.
So the state, the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities did not go through the appropriate process to adopt formal regulations. Therefore, it was the court's opinion that the breadth and the scope of the guidelines constituted regulations. Therefore, they must be promulgated as such. Therefore, they never did the appropriate process for regulations. Therefore, they're no good. The long and my initial reactions. Yeah. My initial reaction to that was kind of puzzled and concerned with regards to the status of obviously the district that was just passed here. But I don't think that would become an issue for us. It seems as though I reached out to somebody at the state about that, because I had gotten select board approval to submit for district compliance, to be determined by the Office of Housing and Livable Communities, which is a requirement of their guidelines / what should be regulations, which are no longer valid.
Until they go through the regulatory process.
Yes, and so I was about to, so I got select board approval to submit for that, and so I was about, and then the very next day, this ruling came out. The feedback I received was go ahead and submit for review anyway, because the state is likely going to just adopt those regulations as mostly as written. And if there are changes, there probably won't be many.
Yeah.
So,
I read something that said that they, whatever this regulatory process is, it requires like the public's input. and-
Yeah. Yeah, there's not the open periods for people to put in, but
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
So the summary is, if it's in the end determined legal, you'll have to pay if you don't comply.
or once they become regulations.
You can expect if you don't comply.
the AG can already determine if you're in compliance right
Yeah.
now, basically, and then decide if they want to take action against you.
If there's no substantial change in legislation.
We can't determine anybody's in compliance
Until there's actual
I
adopted.
mean, basically, as of right now, what I mean is, it's the AG that's determining compliance right now with whether or not a town has adopted an MBTA zoning bylaw, right?
That's comforting.
And so, because there are no guidelines and regulations in place currently, but it's my understanding that the regulations there'll be like some sort of, I have my back to, there'll be some sort of like emergency regulations or something, or some patch fix in the meantime that will grant the Housing and Livable Communities Office the ability to enforce those regulations.
And then meanwhile, we'll go through the process of putting the regulations out for public comment.
Yeah,
And then they'll vote to adopt them, and
Yeah.
after public hearing, then they'll vote to
Right.
adopt them.
Yeah,
I mean, my understanding, and I was generally aware of it when it was happening, because there was just information, emails going out, was that the state did, with the Executive Office of Housing, Livable Communities did do a lot of outreach for those guidelines that they put
Right.
together. It just wasn't the official process for regulations
Yeah.
because they hadn't intended on adopting quote unquote regulations.
ADU, it's accessory dwelling unit.
Right.
They also updated us on, I forwarded with that letter from, was it Central Mass?
Yep.
Okay. Anything else? Next we have A and R plans. Are you here with A&R for an A and R?
public hearing.
Okay. Okay, no one here for an A and R. Public hearing, 0 Milford Street. Which is the one that,
That's Governor's Landing,
Milford.
Milford Street.
so, okay,
Yeah.
so that's where.
That's tabled. I mean, you got an extension to February 1st on
The
that.
question though, do we have to open it and set a new date? I mean, legally, I think we have to open it right now.
You can open
Okay.
it, close it, and then set the date.
Well,
Yep.
within the open space update. So we're gonna suspend our regular meeting and open public hearing for 0 Milford Street. And we need to set a date for a continuation,
Do that to the 28th.
January 28th. Do we have anything else on?
We do just that one that's being,
Yeah, but we need to know what time, because it's date time certain.
that was a continued public hearing to the 28th.
Yeah,
Agenda for that date. Let me see.
South Street. The last one down there.
we just did South Street.
I don't think I have it. I don't have any new applications on this, so it'll be basically the same agenda as it is tonight.
That's,
We've already approved it. No, that's all done. You just signed it. That's what you just signed.
okay.
Okay, so we'll continue this to January 28th at 7:05?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we're now going to close that public hearing and open the special permit hearing for 0 Method Street, large lot frontage reduction. Are you,
No, it's not.
that's not, oh, that's no further. Okay. So we need to.
So
continue
Method
this.
Street, I suggest a motion to postpone, not continue.
Okay,
Postpone the January 28th. Unfortunately, the applicant's engineer sent out the
that's
notice.
right.
So it did get advertised though, I was from
Okay.
the state. So what I instructed them to do was to send out new notices post month today.
Mhm.
It says the 28th.
Okay, to January 28th at 7:15.
Is there anybody on the phone? Use that.
It's just Ken.
Those kind of questions.
Okay. So
Just Ken? Just Ken?
Ken is on. Ken is on. S, he cannot.
You don't want to hear me cough and blow my nose, so I'm keeping
New
muted.
Year,
Are you Ken off?
New Year, welcome aboard.
Okay, so we are now going to move on and open the public hearing for 236 Milford Street. And
Good evening, Dale McKinnon from Garrier and Halden. First, I want to give you the certified receipts. Okay, I also have a letter. We had a review from Stantec last month. This project was introduced in the meeting. And what we're adding is 32 parking spaces. There's actually 37 here and we've lost 5 on the other side, so it's a net 32 adding on to it. And we're going to have a total of 84 parking spaces proposed for the Hopedale Cardiology at 236 Milford Street. And so I want to pass out, what I'd like to do is go through the Stantec letter. I haven't made the changes yet because we recently received it, but we believe
I
that.
believe we all have copies of the Stantec letter already.
Okay, these are my responses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's always best not to make the changes on the fly. Get it all in.
Right, exactly,
Moving targets are hard to hit.
yeah. And I'm still dealing with Conservation Commission. I had one meeting with them. The only thing that I think that came out of it is the same comment that came from Stantec, as they suggest that we have an O and M for there's an existing 2 basins there. And they want us to take care of invasive species and clean it up.
Clean them out. and-
Exactly.
Yeah,
So that's a reasonable request, and we will propose that on the plans. It's double-sided, so there's 3 sheets. I'll make sure all of you get one. Did I give you one yet, sir?
Sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're gonna email me a copy of this.
Oh, I forgot to give you this.
Oh, okay.
I'm hoping that you can put some of this stuff on the board. I've got it on the plans here, but
That's the same.
Sure.
the letter can be shown up on there.
Yeah.
Is there anyone watching from Zoom on the board?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Just Ken.
He's cannot.
so I just want to represent that, this is a colored representation of the site. You've got the, darker gray, which is the existing pavement on the east and west side, and we're adding the lighter, pavement area to the existing site. We're taking out some existing pavement in those areas to compensate for the runoff that we can't capture below the 2 catch basins. And therefore, we're having that run across. We're putting in this grassed area to compensate for that runoff. And it flows, everything, sheet flows off to this riprap spillway. This was something designed in 2015. And there's an existing 8-inch pipe that connects to another spillway over in this area. And that takes the outfall from an infiltration basin that's basically located in this area. We had to stay elevated partially above the existing grade, so it doesn't constantly come down. We've had to flatten it out at a flatter slope. So it's a filling situation in this end, and then it just comes down to meet the existing slope on that side.
Did that affect the piping at all? Did you have to,
This existing piping?
Yes.
No, we more or less designed with that in mind, to use that for the outfall. Unless there's some specific questions on this, I'd like to go through the Stantec comments and then our responses. Is that all right with the board?
Sure.
Thank you. So their first item is they suggested a signature block and certainly we'll add that to the plans. Their next comment is on landscaping. What they said is, we recommend the site plan further identify, label existing landscape features to be retained, including trees 6 inches or more in diameter. So our existing condition plan provided the delineation of the trees that are 6 inches or larger. And what we'll provide on this plan is a limit of work line. Everything within that limit of work line, unfortunately, is going to have to be removed, and everything outside of it will have them protect those trees. There are some trees that are very close to the grading that's going to be done around the side. So anything like this is we're going to protect this 48-inch specifically out in here, but there's a 20-inch right here that I'm concerned about that we may be able to save if we're going to be shallow in this area, so we may be able to keep it, but it's outside the limit of work. I had to give them enough room to direct the swale in that area, but the intent is, the property owner doesn't want to lose any more trees than they have to either, so that is our intent.
Well, the intent of the bylaw isn't for you to keep every 6 inch or greater tree. It's
Right.
to identify them so that those that are, should be saved can be.
Right.
Looked at.
So I'm proposing a limit of work and saying everything outside it. There's a lot of trees there. Is that adequate to you as compared to taking each tree and pointing out?
I think, 6 inch, we've kind of been flexible on every single 6 inch tree thing.
We've got a lot of trees, unfortunately, in this area that we're putting this parking lot. And we're gonna have to take out some good sized trees, but we, at least outside the perimeter, we do want to protect those.
Are there any very large trees?
Yes, there are. If we look at this plan here, we've got some, let's see, I'm sorry, I can't read it very well. It looks like I can't. I can read it better. All right, yeah, there's a 40-inch tree here and a 48-inch in this area here, and then a 38-inch in that area. But we will protect everything that we can on the outside of that area. But you got 3 fairly large, good-sized trees that are going to be removed to build this park here. Right. Water, we will locate what they asked for is to recommend the location, existing well, and the size of the water service be identified on the site plan. We'll locate the well. I haven't seen it when I was out there a couple of times, but I'll go out and see if we can locate it on the plan. But I don't know the size and the location of the water line, so I will attempt to find out that is. I'll try and check with somebody in the building themselves and see if there's someone that knows anything about the existing condition. The owner's new to the property, so they don't have the experience of long time ownership of this property, so they don't have that knowledge. Yes, sir.
1 second.
Mm-hmm.
What's the correlation between a well and park?
Oh, there's a.
They're not increasing the size of the building, they're not increasing the bathrooms, they're not increasing
Mhm.
anything to do with the well, right? It's just that as you look at the site plan,
Perhaps it's distance.
it's supposed to be there and
Yeah, it's supposed to be there, but also does the Board of Health have any regulations around parking lots and wells? Or-
then we need 2.
Good
question.
Put the well on. Make the well.
Yeah, I don't mind showing the well. I'm not sure of the water size. We'll try and find out.
Yeah, the owners might want to know where the well is anyway,
Sure.
probably as a general
Right.
thing.
Number 10, topography, confirm elevations refer to National Geodetic datum 1929. Actually, no, we're using the industry standard of 1988 NAVD, National American Vertical Datum, and it's an industry standard. I'd suggest that maybe you're aware of that, but we prefer to continue using that datum.
We've seen this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I-
I think the problem is that that's a place we need to update our
Right.
regs. That's
Right.
one of those.
Sometimes in the past, like the sewer, if you had sewers, they've got their old datum base on 29, so they want the whole town to stay on the 29 because of DPW, things like that.
Yeah, but
But you don't have that here.
Ridiculous to
Right.
use the 29.
Right,
It's not even close to what we have.
right.
Can I just ask this quick question to go back a step? This area is not on water, correct, on the Milford side?
No,
Okay, I didn't know, but might have done water. Okay.
you'll go as far as Governor's Landing.
No, I didn't know
No,
if it was coming up
from
the other way.
No, because it's pretty far. It's not at all far from where Chestnut comes in.
Number 13, we recommend the applicant provide a profile of the proposed closed drainage system is shown on sheet 3 and 4. We agree, and we'll provide that profile. Number 14, Stantec references their comments below, no responses required. Parking, if required by the planning board and directed by the owner, will add a loading zone location, existing pavement area. The existing 4 handicap spaces shown on the plan meet the proposed site requirement for 84 parking spaces. We are not aware of any required fire lanes. So that's in relation to their question. I guess the thing I needed to make sure is, do you need a loading zone area?
A couple questions on that. What do you do now for loading?
I don't believe they follow any kind of a loading thing. The only thing that probably comes into this is UPS and stuff of that size. Their
You
medical,
have no dock in the back.
no, they don't. They don't.
Well, then I don't know if that would be needed, but a fire lane, that's the fire department. In my opinion, you get a letter from the fire department saying that there's no fire protection or fire markings needed, that you're good to go on that one.
Yep.
Compact, how do you get rid of, that's a compactor, everything stuff that we're talking about, compact need.
Where is that now? In the next one?
Yeah, it says fire lanes on number 20, it says fire lane, compact.
Oh, I assume you meant compact cars.
Compact cars.
We're not, we don't have any of those.
Oh, okay.
We have full
And it
size.
says visitor handicap spaces, well, 20 goes along with, on the bottom of the next one. Would it make sense just to get a letter from those authorities that say you are in compliance, which is the AAB for the state and ADA for the feds, that 84 spaces?
I mean, that's an easy number that is well known to be 4 spaces for 100.
But for us to be sure that you're in compliance, we have you go to the fire department. For the fire.
I don't mind doing local. I don't want to go to the state for that because it's right in the regulations
The worst,
and we can show you that.
right, but the worst thing in Upton is to not comply with handicapped requirements from.
But if there's a
federal.
clear regulation that is 4 spaces per 100.
I think it's 74 to 100.
And at what point does it require a bus or van? Wasn't it 52, 51? Wasn't there has to be a van or a bus location at over a certain number?
Yeah, I can look that up quickly. I just, for clarity, I learned recently that the Architectural Access Board does not sign off on compliance. So we can't send them plans and say, please certify this is compliant. They only hear complaints. So only if somebody were to submit a complaint to the Architectural Access Board for violation of ADA regulations, that's the only time they govern what's what.
So they'd only have to have the standards and show that they've met those standards.
Yeah.
Right.
So what are the standards for 84 spaces with, according to bus or van?
I can certainly submit that to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay. Rubbish collection. We recommend provisions for screening of the existing dumpster be addressed by the applicant. If required by the planning board and directed by, we'll add a detail for screening of the dumpster.
What's there now? There's nothing, just a dump,
Apparently,
just a dumpster.
yeah, I actually didn't notice it when I was out there, but
But most of your waste is controlled, right? It's not just thrown in the dumpster.
that's correct. The thing that goes out there is paper, and hopefully they have recycling on their paper too. So,
Paper towels and things like that probably also.
Yeah.
Medical waste.
right.
Well, the medical waste will be
That-
taken care of
that-
separately,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, if they're doing EKG, because they have all of the
I mean, it's always better with the critters and stuff, to at least put something around it if you have trash.
Give me direction and I'll do it.
I guess that's, to me, that's something you talk to the owner about as well. I mean, does the owner really want a
No,
dumpster exposed?
the owner doesn't want to spend any nickel more than they have to.
And the exposure of the dumpster.
It looks fine.
Looks good to me. Usually people put up fences around their dumpsters.
I think it might have had one and it fell down or something. I'm not really sure.
What we call the dumpster, that would be correct. Critters.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a pretty, it's pretty standard ask,
Yeah.
West Spencer, yeah.
I will consider that an ask.
okay.
Thank you.
We're just looking for it on paper.
And proposed note, the contractors give 24-hour notice to the pertinent town departments. Absolutely no problem. I'll add that note. G&H response, provide location of existing cesspool, septic tank, and leaching area on the site plans. The sewer manhole in the back of the building, and it's shown on our plans. I don't know, you might as well stay there, I'll just show it on this plan here. But there's the sewer manhole, excuse me, shown right in the middle of the back. And when we were doing some test pits, we ran into the edge of the system that's back here. But other than that, the Board of Health has no information. We know more than the Board of Health based on our excavation coming into it. So
So you'll get with them and get back to us.
I'm saying to you, the Board of Health can't tell us anything. I don't know where it is.
Chance?
It did. And I looked at the,
How do they title?
they-
if They don't know where their
they,
system
they,
is.
they put on the plan what I want to put on a plan, which says approximate location. They checked the septic tank. The septic tank is there. But they don't have to find the leaching field. They needed, that they found the parts they needed to find.
325, 50-foot trench somewhere, right?
I don't know. Yeah. So I'd like to do the general thing that was accepted by the Board of Health, which is just a cloud to show general area of the leaching system.
One of our conditions of approval would be Board of Health compliance.
So I don't mind talking to them about that. That's very good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Number. So I guess we're into the storm water. Yes. Okay, so that's what we've done is he's gone through the 10 standards. So number one is noted in the stormwater report, the 2 existing sediment basins be retained and receive drainage from the new parking lot and the east parking lot area. Based on our site visit, we recommend maintenance of the 2 existing sedimentation basins, such as removal of trash debris, trimming, mowing of vegetation, and placement of supplemental riprap performed by the applicant. We agree and have previously discussed the cleanup and invasive species removal in the basins with the Conservation Commission. We will add the maintenance of the 2 sedimentation basins to the operation and maintenance requirements of the drainage system for the site. Number 2, we recommend the applicant to include the following points of analysis: flow path for time of concentration calculations, watershed area labels, and breakdown summary of various surface conditions by HSC, means hydraulic, soil, and the cover type. We recommend the design engineer provide hydraulic calculations of the closed drainage system, identify drainage areas and system capacities for the 10 through the 100-year storm. We agree and will show all the information requested in this comment on the proposed watershed plan. We will also model the stormwater flow in HydroCAD through the catch basin piping to the infiltration system as requested. Number 3.
Is he
Yes.
concerned that there's in the impermeable surfaces that you're adding are going to increase the rate of runoff?
Actually, when I was reading this, I thought it was nitpicky, and I'm doing it because I don't want to say no, but
It's just a compliance. right?
yeah.
You're supposed to do the calcs for
Okay.
compliance.
There is no special reason. We provided all the information.
Yeah.
But I just have to go and show it to them where it is, and that's.
Mhm.
I went through, I remodeled it the way he's asked me to model it. There's still no issue, so we're all set.
Okay.
Number 3, we recommend cross sections of the proposed subsurface infiltration chamber system, identify items such as existing and proposed grades, refusal and or seasonal high groundwater be provided on the site plan. We note the proposed infiltration inverts on the plans do not match the inverts listed on the detail sheet. We recommend G&H review the inverts. The proposed recharge volume is provided by the subsurface infiltration system. We note review of the submitted soil logs within the infiltration footprints indicates estimated depth of seasonal high groundwater between 84 and 96 inches. The vertical separation from the bottom of the subsurface infiltration chamber and the seasonal high groundwater is less than 4 feet, and therefore recommend G&H provide a groundwater mounding analysis. We note the 72-hour drawdown calculations for the subsurface infiltration chamber identify these Rawls infiltration rate of 1.02 is associated with sandy loam and not loamy sand, or in agreement, the infiltration rate is identified in the hydrocat calculations response. We will provide the requested cross-section and the groundwater mounding analysis. We conducted a requested review of the inverts and did not find the discrepancy. This invert concern will be further reviewed by both G&H and Stantec with the creation of the profile and review of this submittal. The statement of the Rawls rate was increased to 2.4 inches per hour rate of loamy sand, and the recharge rate was reconfigured using this rate. So the rate of increase was changed to match the loamy soil, which means there's more capable infiltration. I had allowed it as a safety factor, but it works either way. And so that the way it was worded in my report, he was correct. And so I changed it to 2.41. It also works for one, which is slower, and I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Point settled as far as I'm concerned.
And I think the ones that no response required, we can just
Yeah.
skip over.
So that's number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7. Number 8, Stantec recommends the applicant submit an erosion control plan, a narrative to include a construction sequence, maintenance, inspection program during construction, proposed erosion control measures, location of construction staging equipment, and areas where earth and construction materials be stockpiled on site should be identified. We further recommend the stormwater pollution prevention plan as required by the NPDES general permit be submitted to the board prior to the start of construction. Let me go to the last item first. Well, I started here. The site disturbance is less than 17,000 square feet. I think that was one of the questions asked when John was submitting this to you. You were asking how much disturbance is there?
That doesn't trigger anything, does it?
No, it doesn't. So it does not trigger the 1 acre, but the Conservation Committee and yourself, you're going to want an erosion control plan. So we're going to provide that information. We have one, but it was submitted late, so we'll submit it and be part of the package, and we'll address that concern. And just letting you know, we're obtaining a order of conditions also from the Conservation Commission. Number 9, a long-term operation and maintenance plan shall be developed and implemented to ensure that stormwater system functions and operation and maintenance plan are included as part of the stormwater report. We recommend maintenance associated with the 2 existing sediment basins. And then we said we agree revised O&M for the site plan shall include the 2 existing sediment basins. And number 10, they want the illicit discharge statement, and we will provide that with the next submittal of the report.
Anyone have questions?
Did you give lessons?
All right, no one has questions for comments?
If you go to one of the other this is the plan here, and if you can, I don't know if that can be backed out, but it shows the limit of work line that I added to this.
Yeah, okay.
So
Dash line would be.
Oh, yeah, okay, I see that. So,
it appears, Madam Chairperson, that your most of your issues are engineering,
Mhm.
and what's not engineering would be a Board of Health okay for septic,
Right.
fire department, okay for your,
Fire
with the needs of fire department,
Right.
fire alarm.
And,
And, so,
And confirmation that there's no, area needed for a van.
There is one on there. I don't know if you can see that there, but there is a large 8-foot, park area for a van.
For van
It's
parking,
outside of
okay.
the proposed, right?
yeah,
Two vehicles.
check what the AAB says regulations on, and the ADA as well, they may be different, we have to comply with both.
Sure.
And how, if you count your spots, there's the chart, I remember looking at the chart, it says what you gotta put in.
Mhm.
that next number.
Right.
And as far as the size and width and construction of the parking space, that's all according to the town's regulations.
Yes,
They're looked at by the building department.
correct. Those are 9 feet, 9 by 18.
Yeah.
Which is a standard.
All right. Any?
And we will be doing restriping of the east side, okay? Because currently there's 27 parking spaces there, but we're reducing that to 20,
22.
20, I believe, so, and it's 14 and 12 and 8. So we got 20 there, and there's only 25 over there, I'm sorry. So there's 25, and that's been reduced to 20, and that's the 5 that we've lost in terms of 32 instead of 37. And the reason is, it's just the entrance of our new parking lot takes out about 5 spaces there. So that's the reason for that. And if you could go to another colored plan, one is just showing the watershed of the system. That's the existing watershed.
Do you have many, like, we have a large community center to take seniors and patients to their doctors and the like. Do you have many, do you know if they have many large vans that come in?
I don't know. I'll ask them and find out for you.
Yeah, that has an impact.
Okay. So what the yellow area is going to be the sheet flow area that's going to cross the parking lot and go through that grass area and then out to a sediment basin. The catch basin, there's a small catch basin that has a 4-inch line on the top left. That's the red one. The darker color is catch basin 1. And then catch basin 2 is the magenta color. And those are going to be connected to an existing 8-inch pipe. And that'll go to the larger detention basin, or I should say sediment basin along the east property. So we've equated to the basin is more than, the infiltration basin is more than adequate to supply the mitigation we need to cut down the peak rate. And the fact that we're addressing the water quality for that new portion is compensated by the grass that we've added in that area, so there's no additional pavement that's running off the site. And then it has those basins to provide some kind of water quality to that sheet flow area.
Okay.
So I just wanted to show you that, and that's the limit of my presentation. And I thank you very much for your wording that out like that.
All right. Any other comments or questions from the board? Ken?
Just one thing, Dale, did you say last time that upper left lot, is that getting removed?
Yeah, Bill, you did that
Sorry,
question.
I'm sorry.
What was your
That up-
question?
That upper left lot, is that getting removed? Is that going to be permeable or is that staying?
That's the existing parking area, and that's remaining. That flows off into the woods. It has no stormwater related to it.
All right, I thought you said the last time you were in that was getting taken out, but I guess I'm wrong. No biggie.
I wasn't here before, but my engineer was here, and he may have made an error in that statement.
All right.
Anything else?
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Nice meeting you all.
Oh, actually, we need to continue.
You need to close the public
Or we
hearing.
gonna,
Okay.
we're gonna close this hearing or we're gonna continue?
Close if there's not enough to.
Yeah.
open.
All right, So we'll close the public hearing and, when we receive your materials back, what's our time?
The 20th is your next meeting.
Our 28th? All right, so we'll discuss.
I'd like to go off a little further because it gives them time to review it.
Okay,
Would they be able to review it by the 28th, you think?
maybe not. So, yeah, we'll go
Okay,
February.
The 10th and the 24th. No, soups, no. February 11th.
February 11th?
All right.
That's,
so I'll try and get this to them this week, and then they'll have adequate time.
great. We'll put it on for February 11th.
Maybe they could
And
give
what
it-
is what's our deadline? That was do we have a deadline on this that we?
Oh,
It's good.
you have to, I mean, it's site plan, so it's your,
Okay, so we have
do
to,
you, yeah. I mean, you have regulations that you
Yeah.
generally follow, but it's not statutory.
okay. Great.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, 169 South Street definitive subdivision. We signed that tonight. And
Thank you, sir. Now, do you have copies of all
I do,
that?
yes, I make copies, thank you.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Stay warm.
That's not a big deal.
so 169 South is on the agenda for.
Yeah, and the reasons. So obviously you just endorsed the Mylar certifying your decision.
Oh, we didn't sign 2 paper copies of everything. So
Oh, was it just the Mylars in there?
that was just Mylars.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll hold on to those and that's the project.
Okay.
Unless there were like multiple copies of the Mylar, because it was a lot.
There was a lot.
Generally, we don't, generally, we don't sign all of those plans, but they went to the trouble of it. There's only usually the lot
Yeah,
layout.
I'll
but,
look at it later.
but the question was,
We've done it before, but not often.
but the question was maybe that instead of giving us paper copies, they asked them to get small files. We didn't sign
No,
it.
I think every single one of them was a different plan.
It was, okay, all right.
And, yeah,
Okay, well, I'll ask them for paper copies and we'll get that signed. This is relative to the covenants and, bond. It's going. So and I was discussing this with Tom, wondering what the typical process of the board is. Tom explained to me that typically what this board does is you'll enter into a covenant saying that the lots can't be released for sale until, is it 80% completion, I think, of the road?
it says at least until the point of laying of the binder,
Right.
I think,
Yeah.
and one of, yes, go ahead.
Well, yeah, which lines up with what you just said, about 80%. And then at that point, once they do that, applicants will typically come back to this board and ask for all the lots to be released under that covenant, but then provide a bond for the remaining 20%.
Right.
And at that time, we'd have,
And-
Stantec or whoever, probably DGT at this
Yeah,
point.
and the covenant is intended to document what the planning board is gonna make them do.
Yeah.
The covenant should be all of the things that we said are required, and so that's what we use going forward. So that's what we almost always had a covenant for.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, and some boards do it sort of like an either or situation in other towns too, so sort of just clarifying that. I've seen, boards, they get a bond for like the entire work upfront, that's, so. So I'll happily organize that with the applicants and then I'll bring hopefully I'll have a covenant to endorse.
One of the reasons is that we did that way back when is that the building inspector can't give you a building permit unless the road is paved.
Right,
So the handoff is where we sign it and it goes to the building inspector, and if we say it's okay, but there's no road there, we're just asking for trouble.
Yeah.
So if we require that it's paved before we go to the building inspector, who's gonna give them a building permit and then it's paved.
I think it makes perfect sense.
So that's the
Yeah.
handoff. That's why we went to 80% and paved.
So yeah, no, just confirming that that's the process and that's what we'll do with 169 South Street going forward.
Okay,
Uh,
sounds good.
And I'll explain that to them. They were a little confused
Mhm.
about it when I explained it the first time, so I'll explain it again.
Review 2026 budget. Are we getting a huge budget increase?
I put in for a modest increase to help support increasing the clerk position in your budget to account for the moderate increase that position would see as an assistant planner.
Yeah.
Under my division.
So we're gonna have money left over because of Grace's departure,
You'll have money not used yet.
and that goes back to the general.
Yeah, I just.
Unless we go to.
I think we might have a retreat like in LA.
Not in LA right now,
Yeah,
actually.
look at you in LA, there's a disaster there. You're supposed to be there.
I used to live in Altadena,
Is that right?
right in the foothills of the same, first time I saw a mountain lion and an avocado tree.
Same time.
Oh, it's such a beautiful area.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
All those canyons. All right, so the budget looks good. Anything else that we need to know about the proposed budget for 25?
No, it should all basically be the same, just carrying it over.
Let's see. Other discussion items, CMRPC, direct total assistance. Do we-
Yeah, so you signed that.
Yep.
No, that's the grant.
Oh, okay, yep.
So you had endorsed a request to be included on that program. So between our meetings, CMRPC had reached out to me saying they have this program available to their member communities. And so I wasn't aware that they had a grant round, we'll say, of this happening now. So they reached out to me directly with some options and ideas. And one of their ideas was to, because of the amount of zoning changes that we've had recently, to do a zoning diagnostic and to review our zoning bylaw and identify things that conflict with each other or need clarity.
It's the same group that did it, changed it just a few years ago. Did a total revamp, laid out, renumbered all.
Renumbered everything,
All
but I
the-
don't know if they actually looked
Same.
for conflicts, did they?
I thought it sounded like the same group that did it.
Yeah, it was CMRPC.
2 years ago.
yeah.
Oh, okay, then yeah, so it'd be similar, only with a slightly different scope, but I don't think, maybe they'll take a look at the numbering. But they were gonna look at, again, like, things that require clarity that might seem ambiguous, in their opinion, and, any conflicts between bylaws that they see. Obviously, that'll all come back to this board in the form of a report, and you would decide if you wanna do anything with it.
And would they be incorporating the zoning changes, correct, that have happened
Oh, yeah,
since the last time we did, including BTA communities? Okay.
for sure.
So one question, I think these are the 6-inch tree, that's in our regs or is that in one of our zoning bylaws?
Oh,
This comes up all the time. And someone that's developing 40 acres isn't gonna label the presence of every 6-inch DBH tree. And I think that if we actually want that to be meaningful, we make it something like every 24-inch DBH tree or something,
Yeah,
so that they'll actually do it, because they're just not gonna do every single person comes up and
that's
says,
gotta be in your subdivision rules and regulations.
It's got
I don't see that being just fine.
yeah, so we'll just do it out of the subdivision. And the same with using the 1929 flood standards instead of
That's in your
19.
regulations, huh?
Okay, so those are two changes we need to make to
Yeah,
our
The good
regs.
news is that does not require a town meeting. It
No,
requires
that's
a
just
plan of
planning
public.
public hearing.
Yeah.
So maybe we should go through those regs. As a thing to do, just look at everything that's in the regs and
Mhm.
make a updating of the regulations, because 1929, so look out now. Yeah.
We have to hold a public hearing on it.
Oh, I know,
So
but
we can
before
also-
we do that, we should review everything that's in there to find other things that need to change.
If we get tight, we can at least have the public hearing on those two or any other related subject. Just so that we don't push it all down the road because we don't have 10 things to change instead of the trees and the.
I think calorie pear is still listed as a street tree that we recommend, which we don't. So there's things like
What is
that. Calorie pear, it's an invasive.
oh, okay.
Mike recommended all of them, olives.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Boy, they got some out of olives.
But you can make
They're delicious.
They're delicious, and you can.
Jams and jellies.
Mhm. I make a shrub too, make an autumn olive shrub every year.
I watch where the birds are. You just go to the bush that the birds are on. Those are the-
No, yeah, so when a shrub, you macerate them in vinegar and sugar and let it sit for a while and then you mix it with something that's delicious. I love them. Yeah, I hate them.
Like high in lycopene. Benefits.
Hmm?
Higher in lycopene
Mhm.
and then.
Okay, 152 Milford Street, change in use question on site plan workability.
Oh, so I had met with a prospective buyer of 152 Milford Street. 152 Milford Street is the old Chem Dry,
Oh, yeah.
Colonial Chem Dry, so they're no longer there. They moved out last year sometime. I met with they are a soundproofing company out of Easton. They, mostly what they would be using it for is office space, but also warehousing space. Warehousing space and then some assembly of parts. So it's going to include a light manufacturing component as well. The question is, there's no question really as to that they will need a site plan eventually because they did state that they do want to expand,
Right,
right?
it'll start with us.
Yeah. But I mean, other than just mentioning this to you, sort of before you eventually see it, assuming they purchase the building. They were interested in possibly, if they were going to move forward with the purchase, moving in immediately and getting their office, portion of their office operations running out of that property, as well as storage of the materials that they need, but not, and then I have to draw a distinction because there's
Not
zoning.
manufacturer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They would not be able to do any of the manufacturing, and they would not be able to dispatch to like store the materials that they're bringing to a site, you know what I mean? Any materials they would need is for the
Those-
site.
And those fall under the zoning board, under the light manufacturing.
Yeah.
Use change,
Yeah, so they're gonna need to get a special permit to do those things
and then they'll need a site plan for us.
for the expansion.
If it triggers it because they're doing this or that.
Yeah. My question is more of a confirmation that I don't believe they'll need a site plan from this board to just move in and do operations that are basically by the, allowed under the bylaw for business use in a general, CNI district, excuse me. CNI district, they're not adding 10 spaces, they're not expanding by over 2,000 square feet. They're not changing uses in the sense that, they're changing business use to business use, and those businesses are different, but they're not changing from like
Yeah.
business use to residential use, yes, that sort of thing.
It makes sense that they're gonna know what they need after they get in there.
Yeah,
They should be able to get in there and play and look around and see what's
Yeah.
going on. As
Mhm.
such. Does it make sense?
Yep.
So,
For sure. All right, I just wanted to confirm that. They'll definitely, if they choose to buy that building, they're gonna hit all the boards with
Mhm.
what they
Yeah.
want to over there.
Okay, annual town meeting placeholder for Claflin Farms. I assume you put that in.
Yeah, does the board want to, I mean, I assume that they're getting ready to, I just got a built plan submitted. That's, Dean Pond.
Dean's Pond.
So is it
Yeah.
okay if I request that placeholder with that?
Yeah.
There was no lights up there. It's a very dark community. Very dark. Not even one light.
The town doesn't put it in.
I drove by to look for the bond reduction. I couldn't find the homes unless they put their torchlight on.
Everyone up talks that it lives up by the golf course. I forget what that's called.
Shining Rock.
Sharon.
Shining.
Everybody loves it up there.
I love not having any lights where I am.
Yeah,
I like having dark.
I do too.
Yeah.
Drives me
Oh,
crazy
yeah.
that one of our neighbors leaves lights on all the
It's
time.
not even on the light for safety or for,
Nope,
They say it's quiet.
someone's used to doing that.
Nobody bothers anybody.
I live on a road that very few people go on and it's totally secluded and
All right,
Well, yeah, a couple
Yeah.
of weeks in the Kennington.
Recently.
that's way, I think.
okay, discuss any future agenda items. Do we have anything that we need?
I think since February, I was gonna add back on the agenda, the 5G regulations.
Okay,
So just confirming that.
all right. We had decided there was something else. Okay, have the what's in the regs. Okay, anything else? Anything not reasonably anticipated by the chair 48 hours in advance?
I can't reasonably anticipate anything.
All right. We're done.